Good morning, everybody. A phrase I would like to eliminate from the lexicon. To those who observe.
Okay.
When it is actually like a religious holiday.
Okay.
Happy religious holiday to those who observe. Cool. Thumbs up. The amount of happy opening day to those who observe I've seen today, I'm punting that. I don't need it. It's opening day. That's a 2 thumbs up. If somebody's not excited about opening day, that's fine. That's on them. We don't have to do the to those who observe. We don't have to do that. It's fine. You don't have to put your cutesy little phrase on it. Just be excited. It's real opening day. That's James Ham. Joe Brazil's with us. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and we're hanging out with you till noon. This is The Insiders. I didn't sleep last night. I'm mad today, bro.
Kyle's angry. We got angry Kyle.
Just pissed.
No, it's Thursday. It's your favorite day of the week.
It is the best day of the week. That's facts. Sam Amick said some really interesting stuff about Zach Levine on Logan Murdoch's pod that I would like to get into.
Okay.
And of course, the Kings and Blazers tonight, and what I think is a make or break game for the Kings. We'll dive into that. Mock draft season in the NFL in full swing. But I want to start with a little baseball because I don't think there's a better sport to just name some dudes in than baseball.
Okay.
I think baseball gives us the maximum amount of, like, you know, the meme of guys will literally just sit around and name random athletes. I think baseball is the best sport for that.
Oh, interesting.
I agree.
Because a lot of guys get around to a lot of teams. There's a lot of guys who will have like a cup of coffee and they have maybe like a big moment and they just stick in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best point.
Yeah. And there are so many games that I think as a kid, the randos that just stick in my head who played for the A's, like Randy Velarde and like Frank Menachino and Terrence Long and just all these randos. So when we talk about like, hey, let's just name some dudes, I think baseball is the best sport for just naming some dudes.
I could probably name A's players for like a good hour, maybe 2 hours straight.
Supporting my thesis.
Yeah. Like just random people, like, yeah, for forever. Like I've watched the team, since I was a little kid. So, there's plenty of like the Alfredo Griffin, Donnie Hill,
yes,
double play combo up the middle.
Yes.
The Carney Lansford era at third base.
Shout out to Carney Lansford.
Yeah.
It's almost named after Carney Lansford.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Carney Lansford story.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Shout out to baseball. We'll get into that. We'll have A's and Giants preseason betting odds, chances to make the playoffs. I think the A's are going to be pretty good this year. They open their season in Seattle. I noticed on a billboard today, driving up I-5, because I come in from the Bay Area, so I take 5 all the way up to 80, and then I take 80 down, right?
Okay.
And I'm going through downtown, and I see a billboard on the side, and it's an A's billboard. And it said April matchups with all the teams they're playing against logo underneath it. And I really hope that this isn't 3 years of come watch everybody but the A's.
Yeah, that's a bad look.
I don't like that at all. Like, that is not, if you're going to be here, people want to support a Major League Baseball team. Be a Major League Baseball team. Put Brent Rooker on a billboard. Put Lawrence Butler on a billboard. Put Luis Severino, your opening day starter, former Yankee that you signed this offseason. Put him on a billboard. Make it about the team and not about like, oh, hey, the Cubs and the Padres and the Mets, they're all coming to town. I don't like that. Thumbs down for me.
I agree. Like at the Kings game on what is today? Today's Thursday, on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They had 5 players there, including Lawrence Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And they panned to him in the crowd. They had this little area for them, and then it looked like they moved them down, right down by Vivek. Like some guys cleared out, or people moved down, and they were able to fit them right next to Vivek. So, look, I think that while they're here, and we don't know how long that's going to be. They say it's 3 years. They could easily be a lot longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be a celebration of, this Sacramento Major League Baseball team.
Yeah,
And so I'm hoping they do that, not what you're talking about.
I get like I saw Drew Down say that's Warriors mid 2000s advertising, and that's it. You see teams do that all the time. Like when you're watching League Pass, because you get the a bunch of different broadcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you watch the Charlotte Hornets, and they'll be like, "Hey, come to the final 5 home games and see this star player and that star player." And you see that the Kings, when they put up like the next game graphic, it's Jason Tatum, but it's also Domantas Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that there's a marketing aspect of like other stars coming through.
Yeah, household names versus the A's who don't have household names because they spent the last 19 years not retaining their star players until this year.
Yeah, so I get that's kind of part of the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want that to become the thing. I don't want the A's tenure in Sacramento to be about their opponents. That just can't. That and again, I'm not naive. I've been to hundreds of baseball games in my life. I understand that when the Yankees are in town, there's going to be a large Yankees contingent. The Cubs, there's going to be a large Cubs contingent.
Of course, when the Red Sox show up in town. I mean, if you go to a Kings game, you see a ton of Celtics. I mean, there were so many Celtics fans in the building
that was crazy.
The other night. It was wild. I mean, it might have been like 40, 60 Celtics to Kings fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was wild, like a sea of green.
Yeah. So I understand, like I said, I'm not naive to the marketing aspect of it. I just hope that that's not how this is going to go for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that'd be disappointing.
I couldn't agree more. And it goes to what I was worried about the other day. Like, is the atmosphere just going to be weird because nobody's rooting for the home team?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a packed house every night. I think it's going to be
I'm not worried about. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about them selling tickets. I'm concerned about them marketing this as like hey, come just watch Major League Baseball, not hey, come root for the A's.
Yeah, you need the fans to be rooting for their home team.
Yes, or else it's gonna be a weird vibe.
Yeah,
I don't want that. Anyways, Sam Amick was on Logan Murdoch's podcast called Real Ones on The Ringer. And he said this about Zach LaVine. He kind of dove into the article that he and Slater wrote, but he said this about Zach LaVine. Quote, "I'm not hearing great things about how Zach is enjoying his time so far in Sac." Do we think that, let me rephrase that. I think that is DeMar DeRozan related. I think that is Zach LaVine wanting to be a ball dominant player and finally getting out. I don't want to say getting out from under, getting away from DeMar DeRozan when he was traded to the Kings this offseason. And Zach LaVine was enjoying the best offensive season of his career. And then he gets traded back to where DeMar DeRozan is. And now he has fallen into this like number 2-ish role in their offense. And I think he was really enjoying flourishing by himself. That's what I think this is. That is literally when Amick said that is the first thing that my mind went to. It was less about like, oh, they're not winning enough, or oh, the city or the fan base or whatever it is. It was strictly like, oh, like because he got traded to the same situation he was in.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Zach LaVine hasn't just taken off and had the success here in Sacramento. I mean, the shooting splits are what they are. I mean, he looks very similar to the player he was in Chicago. But there's a way in which this season, the last half of this season has played out that is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch. You're fully invested in a player that you owe 46 and 49 million to over the next 2 years. That is fully invested. And then watching him take a secondary and sometimes third role, like just way down the line it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't look right and it doesn't feel right. And that's a problem. Like, I don't think you need to showcase Zach LaVine, but I certainly think that when you trade your star player away for another star level player, that you should highlight that player, that player should be a huge part of the game plan. That's just not been the case. I mean, whether it's, again, DeMar taking, the bulk of the shots, or not even just the bulk of the shots, like he has the ball more than everybody, right? So it feels really awkward and off, right? And so for him to take that role, and then Malik Monk has his role carved out. Domantas Sabonis is one of the guys who's just like, what in the world is happening? I can't even get any shots up.
Yeah.
Domantas Sabonis is averaging like 16 points a game since the All-Star break. Like, this has not worked out for anybody to find their own success, except for maybe DeMar. Like, outside of that, I think it's been pretty awkward, and like the chemistry of the group. I know this whole idea of vibes has been the big thing the last couple of days, right? Where Zach LaVine said vibes are down. And I think, again, Zach meant vibes are down because they just lost, not vibes are down overall and this is horrible. I can't believe we're stuck here. But I also, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's not super happy with what's happening here. Like, again, we've made all kinds of analogies here, but it does feel like he got away from a player that was ball dominant, that did kind of take a lot of the shine off of him. And then all of a sudden he's with that player again. And I just don't think this is the opportunity that he thought he was going to get. And Zach wanted to go to Sacramento multiple times over the last couple of years.
Sure.
But it was to play with De'Aaron Fox, not to be the De'Aaron Fox replacement in a very awkward, bad finish to a season. And that's what he's kind of caught in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, that's when he said the vibe is not good right now. That to me was, maybe he meant because they lost, but that to me was a Zach LaVine specific thing.
Yeah.
Like, he is not enjoying going to work. And then you see it on the court, and it's again, I'm not in his head. I don't know, but you can very easily connect those dots. And when somebody like Zach, like Sam Amick comes out and says, I'm not hearing great things about how Zach is enjoying his time so far, and Zach's like, like, that's not great. Especially because, as we've talked about ad nauseum this week, like, he's probably here for at least the next 2 seasons. And he's going to be the guy. So that he's 21 games in and he's already like,
Well, I mean, that's on him to figure out ways to be part of what's happening.
Yikes.
Like, that's, again, you wanted to be here. You were happy when you got traded here. Now it's like, okay, you don't just get to, like, a month in. Yeah, this is an awkward into a season. I think everybody sees it. Like, this is a transition portion of the schedule.
Yes.
And it's a transition moment for this team where, again, they already transitioned to a new coach. They might transition to a new coach this summer. But we've already seen the assistant general manager just walk out the door. One of your top assistants just walked out the door and left.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of awkwardness going on here with this franchise.
Yeah.
And, I could understand walking in the door and going, okay, this is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But that, like, all right, too bad. Show up, play basketball, earn your paycheck.
Yeah. But I think too, there has to be some kind of recognition of, hey, this is going to be weird. There was never a scenario where Zach LaVine got to Sacramento and everything was going to be hunky-dory and fine. Like, do we think he was not enjoying his time when he was scoring 42 against Charlotte? Was it 42, 44, whatever it was? He had 40 against Charlotte?
Yeah.
Like, no, he's probably having a blast. Like, that's awesome. But I don't, when that trade goes down, you know what's going on in Sacramento. You were here when Luke Laux left.
Yeah.
Like, you knew that you came over in this De'Aaron Fox trade and that there was a new head coach. Like, yeah, man, it's going to be a little weird. I don't know what the expectation was. And you were rejoining DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, that, and look, he's got personal things going on. There's no question about that. His wife had a baby, like, in the 2 or 3 days before he got traded to Sacramento. Like, it's nice. He can get to Newport Beach, like, very quickly. Just hop on a plane, be there in 45 minutes to an hour, and can be around his wife and kids. But like, look, I don't know what's going on in his head, and I think the best thing for most of these players at this point is just to get to the offseason as quickly as possible. Just hit a reset button, figure out what's going to happen with this franchise in the first couple of days outside of, when the season ends, and then move on from there. And we'll figure it all out.
This is so weird, dude. This team that's like battling for a play-in spot. Yeah, hey, maybe they make the playoffs, but also everybody knows that the next major thing to happen is going to happen after the season's over.
2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now.
Two-ish weeks from now.
Yeah. 18 days.
Depending on if they make the playoffs and how many games they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody just knows where this is headed, but there's still 10 games left. Weird.
It's a really, really sad.
The vibe is at least weird. It might
weird.
not be bad. It's definitely weird.
It is.
All right. The Kings play again tonight against the Portland Trailblazers at Golden One Center. I think it's a make or break game. I think the season kind of leans on tonight. I'll tell you why next. That's James Ham. Joe Brazil's with us. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insiders, and we are sponsored by Jiffy Lube here on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center.
Man. Yeah, I'm looking at usage on the season.
Shout out Logan Webb. Shout out Rockland High School, whatnot, and Tri-City. Tri-City Little League, man. That's where champions played.
Then why doesn't Logan Webb have a championship?
That's where champion that's where a champion mindset is created.
Cy Young contenders.
Contenders are made.
What up, Zach?
And subpar hitters.
Oh. Did you see this?
No, what is it?
Torn ligament in his thumb.
What's up, Tara?
Sustained ligament.
Hey, the Athena channel loves your take. Shout out.
Thank you.
Do you guys see the Giants City Connect jerseys?
Yeah.
Oh man. What are we doing?
Better than the old ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're kind of comparing like poop to a turd, but yeah, no, I don't like them.
The thing I'm not gonna like, I don't know how much is. Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I've heard about some other elements of the uniform, and I think I'm gonna be out overall.
Okay. I don't think I've heard about whatever you're referencing, but I'm interested.
I'm sure it'll be out soon.
Uh-oh.
Is it Grimace? Is he coming over to San Francisco instead of New York?
I don't know John Hamm, Zabo. Tara, Monk is still questionable for tonight with an illness. Do you know what? Jesus, this is crazy. DeMar DeRozan's usage in the month of March is at 27.
DeMarch DeRozan?
It is DeMar DeRozan.
What is it?
It's 27%.
Jesus.
The month before it was 23.4, 24.5. In December it was 21.9. And in November it was 26.3. That didn't make any sense then.
I'm pretty sure the A's are not going to have anything that says Sacramento on the away jerseys, especially like across the front. It's going to say Athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's so disrespectful, bro.
Dude, and I'm telling you, and I'm in MLB The Show, like Sutter Health Park got done really dirty. Like they're just all around, it seems like the disrespect.
The retribution, you guys reading too much into Vlade being around the team more and more. I haven't read anything into that. And for that matter, I've actually had conversations with Vlade. He is an advisor.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
James is there. I'm Kyle. Joe Brazil's over there. I guess Sam Amick said, I saw on the internet, that Vlade is around the Kings organization more and more. I have no idea what to make of that.
Okay, so Vlade's been on the payroll for like a year and a half.
Right.
Again, he is an advisor to Vivek Ranadive. And, like they've had him kind of in like an ambassador role.
Sure.
But at this point, like, look, I don't know that it's been more in the second half of the season than it was before. Like he's been around the whole, like not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not surprising though. Like, look, you made like dramatic moves, and I would tell this to people, like, if you think Vlade has major influence over the Sacramento Kings, if that's what your belief is, that Vlade is some sort of, 7'1" puppet master that has all of this control and this power over Vivek and everything else, I'll tell you what would not have happened. De'Aaron Fox wouldn't have been traded.
Sure.
Like, does that mean that Vlade won't step in and be part of some bridge to something new this summer, or he won't still be around, or he won't have the Joe Dumars like mystic, Wizard of Oz type role? I don't know. Like, it's possible he's going to have more of an influence with Vivek, but like De'Aaron Fox was Vlade's like crowning moment. That's the one player that really worked out from the draft that Vlade found and was able to help develop, and who became a star level player in Sacramento. And the Kings just traded him. And Vlade was here when they traded him. Like, he was here when San Antonio rolled through, because I took video of him going out and giving De'Aaron a hug on the court. Like, so I don't know what people think, like what kind of influence Vlade has at this point, because if he had true influence, that would not have happened. That trade would not have happened.
Yeah, that's I guess for me, it's less about what influences he had and more, I guess the question that comes up for me is, they're not going to run it back.
I don't think they're going to run it back.
There's no, I don't want to say no way, because I don't think I would put anything really past Vivek from a decision-making standpoint. But there's no way that this is, oh, hey, they know Monty's out, they're going to bring Vlade back.
Yeah.
There's no way, dude.
I hope that that's the case. I hope it's the case. Like, I got to be honest. But I don't think, again, when we hear the name Scott Perry mentioned, right? And people are like, hey, stop bringing up Scott Perry. And I'm like, I'm not bringing up Scott Perry because I'm just pulling a name out of the sky. I'm bringing up Scott Perry because his name has been mentioned within the walls, right? Scott Perry was an assistant GM under Vlade Divac for 3 months during the 2017 NBA draft. And then he got the Knicks job and left, right? Like, when you hear that, my first thought is, okay, would it be possible that Vlade is going to have more influence and be more of a more than just a consultant, maybe somebody who's like a little bit higher of a figurehead up with Vivek and helping to make final decisions type stuff, with someone like Scott Perry, who he had worked with before as the general manager. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's possible that Monty McNair is still the GM this summer. We just don't know. We don't know at this point. I will say that I'm leaning more towards the fact that Monty won't be here, because I've heard that a lot of the people around the building do not think that they're going to be here long term, that they don't think that they'll survive the first couple of days after.
Sure.
So like front office personnel, assistant coaches, like they're planning on a purge of some sort. And what that means, like, we don't know, but like there's at least that that the people who are working there do not believe that they're going to be working there much longer. Now, that doesn't go for Monty McNair. I have not heard that with Monty, but you're not going to take out a bunch of Monty's people and still have Monty there. So
I hope not. I don't, man.
running it back, I just don't think that's going to be the case.
This to me, the logical thing here is Vlade is somebody that Vivek trusts very much.
Yes.
Vivek knows that there are massive franchise-altering decisions facing him in 2-ish weeks because he sees the direction this is going. He knows that there are massive franchise-altering decisions coming up, and he is making sure that he has somebody that he trusts around while these decisions are being made. That's my hope for what this is, and not, oh, he's keeping Vlade in the fold because once Monty's gone, they're going to put Vlade back in that role.
Yeah, that would just be really weird. And
that would be insane.
It would be insane, but I'll tell you, when people say, why is he still around? Why does he have Vivek's ear? It's because Vlade is a very genuine, real, cool human being. Like, he is a very good dude. Like, should he be a general manager of a team? Probably not.
No.
Should he have ever had that role? Probably not.
Yeah.
But was he the worst general manager in the history of the Sacramento Kings? I hate to tell you this, he wasn't. Absolutely not. Like, there were worse GMs before him, and we'll see what comes after him. But like, he's still a good human being.
Sure.
And he's still a very good basketball mind, somebody that knows the game extremely well.
Sure.
He's the guy who, for the early 2000 Kings, pulled everybody together and made that a family. And he still has that same vibe and that same influence on people where everyone wants to be around him. Now, whether you believe he's the right guy to be your general manager or whatever, that's probably not the case with a lot of people that are around him. But whether he's a good person to have in the building, like, I don't see any problem with it.
Unless they're going to rehire him as the GM.
Unless they're going to do
Then it's
that.
a problem. Then it's a real problem. We keep talking about what the future looks like because I think we just kind of all know where this is headed. But the Kings do play a game tonight. They have 10 of them left.
Yeah, they do.
And they play tonight against the Portland Trailblazers. This is the one. This is the game.
We keep saying that.
This is the one. Said this for 6 weeks.
We have.
I did that. I do the Jiffy Lube sports updates for 98 Rock and the Eagle. And I started writing one the other night after they lost to Oklahoma City. And I started writing it. It was like, I've written this same thing 15 times, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, tough loss, but hey, this next stretch of games. But I really think this is the one tonight because if the Kings should beat Portland. This is a team that if the Kings go out and they play with the necessary force, and if they play a okay game, they play a B- game, they should win. If they come out and lose tonight, it will signal to me that there has been a punting that has happened. And that it would be 5 losses in a row. It would be a 2-5 homestand?
Oh, yeah. It
5
would be
losses
bad.
in a row, 2-5 homestand. And now you got to go on the road. And if you're losing to Portland, I feel way worse about beating Orlando. I certainly don't feel good about beating Indiana or Detroit, who are on this next road trip. So this is the one tonight. I think if they're going out and they're losing to Portland, they're not terrible. They play hard. They have some interesting young players. I think Chauncey Billups is doing a really nice job as their coach. But if you're not able to in this spot with this level of urgency get up to play well enough to beat Portland, I think that's a signal that they're done.
I don't think there's any way to recover if you lose to Portland. You don't have enough games. Like we talked to yesterday, well, what do you need to win, like, of your final 10 in order to make the plan? And like, I think most of us believe 6-4 is probably the number. 6-4, 5-5, 7-3.
If you can go 500, you're good.
Yeah, but the problem is that, like, you have to go 500. You have to beat the teams that are below 500 in order to get there. And they've got like 5 or 6 of those. And then you got a couple of tough games that, you might not be able to win. But this is one of those games where not only do you prop yourself up and push yourself forward, but you can kind of end the Portland Trailblazers run and any attempt that they have at the 10th seed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the best thing. That would be a great thing for the Kings to just like knock one of the teams off that's chasing.
Yeah.
Okay, you're out of it. You can't catch up now.
Yeah.
But like if you lose, this could get to the point where we're wondering if they're the 11 or the 12 seed.
Mm-hmm.
If they just keep tumbling, because I think that's very possible. If you lose to Portland and you finish this homestand again, you know what this feel like? It'd feel like that time that they lost 5 games in a row at home early in the season, and then somebody got let go. Because that's where you're kind of at. Not that I'm saying that they need to let Doug go or they're going to let Doug go. I mean, they don't even have an
But you want to
assistant
talk
they could
about
put in
But you want to
place.
talk about vibes.
Yeah.
If you lose this one, I don't think there's any getting it back.
No, I would agree with you.
So I think this is the one tonight.
It's like a do or die game. It's like, you know, it's not an elimination game, but this would signal a very dark finish to the season.
Yeah. Man, it's so funny. I asked our guy Danny Meringue, who does radio up in Portland, really tapped in with the Blazers. I asked him a while back. It's like, hey, are the Blazers trying to get the 10 seed? Or are they tanking? And he was like, they're trying, but heavy air quotes on trying. So I'm interested to see what tonight looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And if I think he said Tumani Kamara was questionable.
Yeah, he's
been really good for them. Just lengthy, really good defender.
He's just a tough matchup for the Kings.
Yeah, really, really good athlete. Can hit a 3. Like he's questionable. It wouldn't shock me at all if Portland and their front office and their coaching staff is looking at this game and going, hey, if we're trying to not get in the play-in, this is a game we need to lose. So it wouldn't shock me at all if we see a couple of players on the injury report.
Yeah, they do have DeAndre Ayton is out, Robert Williams is out, Bruce McGowan's is out, Bryce McGowan's, sorry. They also have Jeremy Grant is doubtful.
And Kamara's questionable.
And Kamara's questionable.
Yeah.
And it's funny, all the other guys are like considered much better players, but Kamara's probably the one that would kill the Kings.
Yeah.
Not the others. Yeah. Everyone else
man.
is like, all right, Aiden's there, he's not, doesn't really matter.
Portland's 9-9 since the All-Star break. And what I say, they're 8th in net rating.
Yeah, something like that.
8th in defensive rating, 11th in net rating. They've been like, oh man,
solid.
That's a young team starting to figure it out. Denny Avdia has been awesome. Scoot Henderson had a nice little run there. We mentioned Kamara already. Shaden Sharp still figuring it out. Like there's a world where the Blazers over the next couple of years make a couple of moves and are really, really good. But they are the exact type of team that we'd go in. And if this was earlier in the year, I'd be like, yeah, I think the Kings are going to go out and play with the correct urgency tonight. And I think they win. I think they win going away. Like, let's see a blowout, blah, blah, blah. I've taken that off the table because I've seen the Kings lose too many games that I thought they were going to win by a lot in. But with the way Portland is playing right now, and with the way we've seen the Kings play over the last 4 games, specifically since the second half of the Bulls game, second half of the Bucks game, it's a scary one.
It's kind of a gut check game. Like, do you have anything left, and can you right the ship? Because like, look, you've got 10 games, right? You win this game, you go out on the road, you start getting a little bit of momentum out on the road. There's nothing to say this team can't like go 7-3, get, be the 9 seed and, 6-4, 7-3, be the 9 seed going into the play-in tournament, play well, find themselves a little bit, beat up on a team in the first play-in game and then make it a good, potential good game in the second play-in game and possibly make the playoffs. But if you're going to get any kind of momentum, any kind of run, it has to start with this team right here.
Yep.
It has to start with this game because after this, I think you've got a 6-game road trip and 5 or 6. And then you come back for 3 more at the end of the season. This is one of those games where if you lose this, it just sets that road trip off on the wrong foot. And like, there's no recovering. Like like this is a team that very well could track you down if you lose this game.
Mhm.
So tough.
Yeah, it's a 6-gamer: Orlando, Indiana, Washington, Charlotte, Cleveland, Detroit.
Yeah. Some winnable
And
games.
there's a chance that you lose tonight. That's 5 in a row, and also they lost 4 in a row, 1-2, and then lost 4. So you've lost 8 of your last 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their post All-Star break schedule is like, record is not good at all.
No.
Yeah, they have really, really struggled. So, and this would eliminate any chance, I believe, of getting back to 500 on the season. You're 2 games under right now.
If you lose tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that there's mathematically you can still get there, but it would be very, very difficult.
Since I've come on the show, I think we've only won twice or 3 times.
Is that right? When was your first day?
It's been a month. I've only seen the beam in here, I think 2 times.
It's the Grizzlies and Cavs.
Yeah.
Because March 7 was the Spurs game. They won that
So it's
one.
been a month tomorrow, or I guess on Monday.
I say we blame Joe.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Joe, what's your deal?
It's Joe's fault.
It was fun too. I would come by every day when we were doing good. Everyone was having fun. I would come in, vibes would be good. I start doing the show every day with you guys now, and all of a sudden, everything just starts
Vibes
falling
are down.
apart. Everything.
Mm.
I don't know, just food for thought, I guess.
We should ask Doug about that at the game tonight.
Yeah,
King-
about me. Yep.
Yeah.
Kings
Hey,
are
Doug.
7-10 since the All-Star break. Yeah.
Oof. Hey, Doug, what is it about Joe Brazil being full-time on the Insiders that it has your guys not playing well?
I would love to see the look on his face when you ask that question. That'd be funny.
He'd be so mad. That'd be so funny. It's Joe's fault. # blame Joe. No, I'm kidding. I'm not letting the Kings off the hook that easy.
That's true. # blame Joe / Kings.
The Mavs are at the Magic tonight. So in the scoreboard watching, because the Mavs are currently in 11th at 35 and 38. The Kings are the 9 seed at 35 and 37. The Suns are also 35 and 38. They're the 10. So big Magic fans tonight if you're rooting for the Kings to make the play-in. If you're rooting for the Kings to not make the play-in, then obviously you're rooting for the Blazers tonight, and you're hoping the Mavs can swing an upset in Orlando.
There it is.
It's kind of insane that Anthony Davis is playing basketball. What are they doing?
Oh, no, he told them he wants to play. And I think it's part of the, like, if you have any chance of me not asking out of here right now, you probably should put me on the court. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he wants to play. And I get it. Like, I mean,
I do too. Players want to play.
Yeah.
I get it. But man, if he comes, that's crazy.
Yep.
The Mavs are going to have a finals run. If they don't make the play-in this year, the Mavs would have a finals run sandwiched between 2 years not making the play-in.
That's wild. I mean, they were so bad the year before.
Their best player.
They were so bad with Luka the year before they made it to the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there. I don't know how they were so bad, but
pieces didn't fit.
Yeah,
He and Kyrie were still figuring it out.
I guess.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough to watch. Tough to watch.
Wild. Watch the Mavs win tonight. Watch them go on a little run here. That'd be annoying.
Yep.
All right. That's James. I'm Kyle. Joe Brazil on the 1s and 2s. We're the Insiders. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Center.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, good luck. Yeah, dude, allergies are just whooping my ass, bro.
Yeah, allergy season is among us, unfortunately. My buddy used to always make fun of us because he never had allergies, and he just would say things along the lines of, well, I'm superior, yada, yada, whatever. 2 years ago or a year ago, he comes to me and he's acting like he has something to tell me that's very serious. And I'm like worried. And he's like, I think I have allergies. And it was like this moment. So he's one of us now.
Shout out.
Shout out to him.
Welcome to the club.
Yep. It's a real thing that you can't escape.
Justin does?
Yeah.
Of course. Which one? In Discord or on Chatty? My cat's fine, by the way.
Good, good.
Took him to the vet yesterday, and the nail was not super far into his little toe bean, and so they just got it out, scabbed over pretty quick. Didn't need antibiotics or anything.
Wow.
Um,
Get a little Go-Gurt, little cat Go-Gurt for being good.
sort of.
Mm.
Yes, he actually
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
A little churu.
Yeah, dude.
Because he wouldn't come out of his little carrier.
Okay.
Chris, the Angels stink. All right. You're not getting, I know you want, you're not, no. We're not doing the whole AL West.
Just because you're an Oxnard, we don't care.
The Angels being the only team to never lose 100 games is kind of nuts. But also the Angels have had Mike Trout and they've been in one playoff series, so. Wait, really?
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty
I'm very open about my
very
cat
open
madness.
about cats.
Now, if they're being sarcastic, then salute. That's a good. Oh my God.
That's horrible.
Good Lord. Oh my God. That's crazy. Yeah, I asked the vet, I was like, because I was expecting them to be like, oh yeah, it's going to require this procedure and this antibiotic and you're going to have to put this cream on it and blah, 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 blah. I was ready to pay like 4 figures yesterday. And she was like, yeah, we'll just make this a routine checkup. He's due for one anyway.
Nice.
Get his nail out of there. We'll clip the rest of his nails.
Heck yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I think the pug cost us another $500 yesterday.
Jeez. I don't know what this is in response to, but yes.
Yeah,
Big
I
Anderson
agree.
Pack guy.
I agree.
How is the pug? What is it doing?
The pug is okay. He's on prednisone still because of his stomach problems.
Okay.
So they took blood work yesterday, so they're trying to see if he's processing proteins better, because that's been the problem. He's not like processing proteins. He still can't. He's lost his ability to jump at all, so he can't like jump up onto like. We have like a settee at the end of the bed. He can't jump on that and then up onto the bed. You have to like lift him up.
Jeez. You get the little dog stairs?
He won't use them.
Mm.
He might. We have dog stairs in the house somewhere.
My wife's dog would use the stairs to go up, but not down.
Oh yeah.
He had like a shoulder thing.
Classic.
So she got him the stairs specifically so he could go down, and then he would not use them to go down.
He would
Jumping
jump.
is
He
fun.
would jump
Yeah.
and then yelp because of his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's
Up
like,
the
if
stairs, down
only
the
there
stairs.
was some, that's what he's thinking. He's like, if only there was some sort of way for me to like not be in pain when I get off the bed.
We got a pug over a Frenchie because pugs are supposed to be healthier than Frenchies, and our pug has cost us so much money. I mean, the last doctor visit was like $5,500. Yeah.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Jesse Tapia, the producer for D-Lo and KC, is taking shots at me on the internet,
Oh yeah.
and I need to craft the perfect response. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. We'll just continue pet talk.
Yeah,
Drew
absolutely.
down.
We're talking a lot of pets today.
Drew down in the chat asked if I have a corgi. I do have a corgi. She's a nightmare. And then we have a golden and we have a pug.
Oh, you have a golden too? I didn't know that. Yeah, I have a golden retriever as well.
Our golden is he's almost 10, And the corgi likes to attack him, so we have to keep them separated at all times.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great. Yeah, and pugs are money pits. Our pug, he's super sweet. Yeah, he's only 6, but he's cost us a ton of money.
Salute to the pug. Hope he's okay. Salute to you guys for vamping while I replied to somebody on the internet. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Hey, do you know what the thing that I care about the least of all the things that have ever existed is the LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith beef?
Oh, yeah.
I could not, and this is not old man yells at cloud. I get the appeal. And I get why there's an argument here. But I just can't bring myself to care. I don't feel negatively about it. I've seen people waxing poetic like, this is why sports media is the way it is now. Nobody talks about the games. They only want to talk about the draw. Like, yeah, no, we've been on that. We've been on that for a while. But this specific LeBron Stephen A thing, I thought it was done. And now it's back, and LeBron's on Pat McAfee show talking about Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A. Smith is obviously coming back out, and now he's talking about it. I just like, bros, call each other and figure it out. The fact that your little tiff is being played out in public, you could just call the person.
Yeah.
You guys have the ability to interact with each other in a space that's not public, which to me means most of this is manufactured.
Oh, it's fake.
And even if it's like there's like some realness to it, like the fact that if it was that serious, you would go through the proper channels to have a real conversation about it.
Yep.
But no, they're going on different shows and saying what they need to say to the person, making sure everybody just like, all right.
It just feels like
Sure,
fake
man.
beef.
It's weird,
it does.
dude.
Yeah.
It's so weird. All right. It's opening day. But speaking of which, new life goal is to be in Cincinnati on opening day.
Dude.
Cincinnati does opening day right, dude.
Oh, really?
There's like a parade.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Huh.
Like
I did
kids
not
that
know
ju-
the Reds
kids
went
get
all
taken out of school. Yeah, man. It's a tradition that goes back
yeah.
like 50 years. Maybe more. I don't know. I've never researched it. But that's a new thing that I never cared about until today. One of my friends is there and posted a bunch of photos, and now I need to go.
Yeah, I've recently learned about like more about it as well.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine like waking up, you're young, out of school that day, you get the whole day, and then you make your way to the ballpark.
That's how you get people.
Real.
That's how you get kids to love baseball. By
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Take them out of school and take them to a ball game. Let there be a parade involved. Get them a hat. Some cotton candy. That's how you bribe a child to like baseball.
Now I'm feeling like I just need to take my youngest out of school on Monday and go to the A's game.
You should.
Absolutely, you should.
Yeah.
I probably won't do that.
Isn't it a night game?
It is a night game.
It'd be super funny to
Okay.
take them out of school for a night game.
Come hang out here. We're like, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
be talking about it.
Just gonna vibe out.
He would be fun.
MLB power rankings are out from MLB.com. The A's are currently 25th. They have a 15.5% chance to make the playoffs. Again, that's according. Is this the Athletic? I think it's the Athletic.
It's the Athletic. Yep.
They're 200-1 to win the World Series and 22-1 to win the AL West. That is last. Their win total is set at 72.5. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm going way over on 72.5.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they're not. I don't know if they're going to win like 85 or 87, but I think they're a 500 club and maybe better. Like, I think they're a team on the rise.
Sure.
And I also think that they're a team playing in a much smaller park than what they have historically. I think players are going to adjust to that stadium relatively quick.
Mm-hmm.
And, I expect a couple of these guys to have their like career years for batting. Like, it's not a big home run park, but the fact that there isn't all the foul ground like there is in Oakland,
Yeah.
your ERAs might go up a little bit, but your batting averages for this team should like have a considerable jump this season.
I need them to win 4 more games than they won last year to hit the over.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And especially since we've seen the A's do this time and time again,
Mhm.
where they're bad for a couple years, then they start bringing up players like J.J. Bleday and Lawrence Butler. Max Muncy made the team
Yeah.
because Zach Geloff's hurt.
Jack Wilson.
Jack Wilson.
Jack or Jake?
Jacob Wilson.
Jacob Wilson.
Jacob
Yep.
Wilson. My
Jack
bad.
Wilson's his dad.
His dad. Yep.
Brent Rooker. Like we've seen this team before, or we've seen them do this before.
Uh-huh.
They make the playoffs, then they sell off their guys. They're bad for a couple years, and then this ascension starts. And it's pretty rare over the last 2 decades that you've seen the A's start an ascension, which they did last year, and then not continue ascending at a significant rate. So that's part of why, when, personal feelings aside, when you go, you start talking about the A's this year in Sacramento, like, this is a really good time for them to be here. In 2023, they won 50 games. 2024, they won 69 games. Nice. And then to me, this year this is the one. This is where they get up toward 78 to 80. Maybe they finish 500 if they have a couple of things break right with their pitching staff.
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of talent on the field. Now, the pitching staff is going to be a major question mark. The bullpen is going to be a major question mark outside of Mason Miller. But the position players themselves, this should be a team on the rise. Like, I don't know what you're going to get out of, a rookie shortstop. I don't know if that's going to work out.
Sure.
And I don't know. Again, Zach Geloff is starting off on the injured list because of a Hammond. Was it Hammond bone?
Yeah.
So
bone right down here below the meat of the hand.
Yeah, right there.
Pause.
But Shea Langoliers is a really, really good young catcher who has a bunch of pop in his bat. Like, you go position by position, and I think that this team has as good a chance of winning as most teams do in the AL West. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I'm excited to go out and see them.
I'm not ready to go there. I'm not ready to say they have as good of a chance as any team in the AL West. Just because I'm really not sure if they're going to be able to get outs.
Yeah,
it's a significant question for me. Seth Brown is still on the A's.
That's weird.
I feel like Seth Brown's been on the A's for 15 years.
He's just
hanging out, just vibing.
Yeah.
He's been on the A's since 2019.
All right.
Shout out to Seth Brown.
I think
he's 31 years old.
It's gonna be a fun team, and they've got a bunch of talent ready to come up too. Yeah. Outside of the guys that are already up with this team, up with the parent club. I think that they are going to be a team to watch out for.
Logan Gilbert v. Luis Severino tonight at T-Mobile Park up in Seattle. The Giants, in these same athletic MLB power rankings, they are 20th, 5 spots ahead of the A's. They have a 34.5% chance to make the postseason. Their win total is set at 80.5. We'll bring in resident Giants fan Joe here.
Yeah.
Where are we leaning on that 80.5 win total?
I'm going to take the over. Not just because I'm a Giants fan. Obviously, I want to be optimistic about the season. But the pitching staff looks really good this year, truly. Robbie Ray's coming back off an injury. Hopefully, he's ready to go 100%. You got Logan Webb, obviously. And then you got a bunch of guys in the bullpen fighting for that spot as well. They got Landon Roop, who took the final spot. But you got Hayden Birdsong in the good bullpen. Player. And then they got a new guy, Peguero, who's throwing effortlessly over 100 miles an hour.
Is Birdsong not going to be in this rotation?
He did not make the rotation, so he's going to be out of the bullpen. I don't agree with it, but
what a weird thing.
Yeah, it is odd.
And Kyle Harrison didn't make the team, right?
He didn't. No. So that's
yikes.
But that is a good problem to have because we have these guys that are coming up and they're getting better, and they're waiting to come up and. So I think I'm going to take the over this year. We got Willie Adames. Chapman, I feel like Chapman's going to have a really good season hitting. He looked really good in spring training. And I'm excited for this year, man.
Chapman, you always get super excited about, and then it just kind of fizzles. Like,
it's true.
He was awesome last year.
He was really good last year, though. Yeah. And then we got Gerard Encarnacion. Maybe we're finally going to have a 30 home run hitter. So I don't know. Maybe.
That hasn't happened since
Bonds.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Different starting left fielder this year too, right?
Oh,
Let me take a look. See
it's a
here.
good question. I know they
I
moved
got
Fitzgerald
Senders. I don't
over
know
to
if this is-
second.
I don't know if this is public yet. So I don't
That's
wanna-
another person to look out
Who
for
started-
this year.
who started in left field for them last year on opening day.
Oh, man, that's a good question.
That's
Was it VR?
that's a crazy thing to ask. I don't know why. You
Yeah,
would know
it's
that.
a hard. It might have been David VR. It might have been.
Is that your final answer? Oh, okay. I have the answer. It's not David VR.
Okay, it's not.
No,
Dude. Yeah, I don't have an answer for
Michael
you.
Conforto.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then he got injured, right? So-
Michael Conforto, one of those guys that just like, hey, let's name some dudes. Remember Michael Conforto?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good one.
Blake Sable, shout out Blake Sable. I met him outside of Oracle
River
Park.
Cats legend.
He was awesome. He was
An
very nice.
absolute hoss, by the way. That is a massive human, Blake Sable.
Yes, I was driving outside Oracle Park, and I see him on a bike, and I go, "Has anyone ever said you look like Blake Sable?" He's like, "Yeah, I've gotten that before."
Huh. Well,
And then you realized it was him?
And then I said, "You're Blake Sable, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah."
like, yeah, you got me.
Doggone it.
If I was Blake Sable and somebody recognized me, I'd be so pumped. I'd be so fired up.
I was fired up, man.
Oh yeah, love that for you. All right, we'll get back to Kings. We'll have more Kings Blazers. I have a question about the Kings long term as we continue to keep that in the conversation. And Joe, you have some baseball questions for us as we keep talking baseball here on opening day as well. Second hour of the Insiders coming up next. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. That's Joe Brazil. This is ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center. Oh, buddy, top of the show.
I
totally forgot Encarnacion fractured his hand. Oh man.
Yeah, Elliot Ramos.
Ramos might hit 30 this year.
Yeah, you always have someone who might hit 30 who never does.
That's a fact. It was Brandon Belt for 10 years straight.
I'm going back through the A's, who are like a broke ass franchise for the last 2 decades. They almost always have at least one 30 home run guy. I mean,
I've got a hot take for you after the break with that.
I think there's one season outside of the pandemic season. I'm all the way back to 2017. They've had at least one 30 home run hitter in every year except for one season since then.
I'm going to go to 2010.
I'm in the Chris Davis era right now.
Shout out to Chris Davis.
Russ Dog, the Giants are my team.
God, Chris Davis just mashed. I'm all the way back to 2016. Now 2015. 2015, they did not have a 30 home run guy. So of the last 12 years, 11 years, I think I've found 2 seasons. If we take out the whatchamacallit season, the pandemic season. 2014, Josh Donaldson led the team with 29. He did not hit 30. Brandon Moss hit 30. How can you not stumble upon a Brandon Moss or a Jack Cust or somebody if you're the Giants?
It's the park, unfortunately. It's 100% the park. But
Josh Reddick, 32 homers in 2012.
The Josh Reddick era was weird.
It was weird.
Since 2000, in 2000, Tejada Giambi. 2001, Tejada Chavez and Giambi. 2002, Tejada Chavez. Then nothing in 03, 4, or 5. Then in 06, Frank Thomas, of course, with 39 dingers. Nick Swisher had 35.
Yeah.
Nobody in 07. Cust in 08. Nobody in 9, 10, or 11.
Remember that one year they had Josh Willingham? Weird. What a weird season.
Josh Willingham, great guy. Just naming dudes.
Yep. Wow. 29 homers in the 2011 season. Oh, the 2010 season had nothing. Well, that's a bad year. Kevin Kuzminoff led the team with 16 jacks.
2010 was 2011 was the year I had season tickets.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like $220 for 20 games in the bleachers.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
hell yeah. And then 2012, the ticket rep called me back and they were like, "Hey, you gonna buy tickets again?" And I was like, "No, this team stinks." And then they went to the playoffs.
Oh, the Johnny Gomes year.
So, okay, funny thing about Johnny Gomes. At FanFest that year, I covered FanFest for the place I was interning at. Hour number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Matz, and Joe Brazil's with us. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and we're hanging out with you until noon. Then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC. Yeah, we were just talking at the break. We were talking about like random A's teams that have been good. And I remember in 2012, because they were not good in 2011. And in 2012, I'm at FanFest and I'm covering it for the place I was interning. And Johnny Gomes, Ray's legend, is standing there and the way this worked was there was a press area at underneath the Coliseum, and players in the midst of their day would just drop by the press area and there'd just be a scrum.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hang out and chat. And Johnny Gomes, while he's up there, he's just like, yeah, this reminds me of some of the teams that, we made runs with in Tampa Bay. Like, I feel really good about this group, and I think we're going to surprise some people this year. And just the way he said it and the way he talked about it, I was like, I think they're going to be good. I feel really good about what Johnny Gomes is saying, and I'm as pessimistic as anybody.
Dude, if Johnny Gomes is telling you that, though,
Yeah, and then that was the year they tracked down the Rangers and won game 162 and went to the postseason.
What a year.
It was great. It was so much fun.
That's what I
Love
think.
baseball.
The cool thing about when the A's are good, and I would say the same thing about this team right now, is that when they're good, it's because like random people just become so much bigger than what you thought that they would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Brent Rooker is like one of those crazy A's finds, right? We see that. And Lawrence Butler is like the guy this year. But in order for the A's to take some like gigantic step forward here, they're going to have somebody step up and be way bigger than we think they are today. And I don't know if it's Langoliers or, if it's Soderstrom or, who it will be, if Wilson, but somebody's going to have to be that guy that changes some of the, for them to take a leap from, 75 to 80 games to 80 to 90 games. And,
Right.
and I think they've got enough random dudes that maybe you do get that from somebody, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Matt George in the chatty house says 2012 A's season was genuinely one of my favorite memories in life ever. So that last game of the year against Texas, the A's were getting smoked. There was like a pop-up on the infield and they like dropped it with the bases loaded. And it was a mess. They were losing. And I had a test that day, so I couldn't skip class. It was this mandatory test. It was a day game. It was a mandatory test, like in the middle of the game. But as I'm going into my class, I was listening on my phone, and they were down. They were losing. And I remember Ken Korak saying, and the wheels are coming off for the A's, or something to that effect. The wheels are coming off is a phrase he used. And it was right as I was walking into class. I was like, okay, perfect. They lost, whatever. They're going to be a wild card team. It's fine. I finished my test as fast as humanly possible. It was the first one done. And I check my phone real quick, and it's like tied. And so I sprint to the round table on campus. I watched the rest of the game there. It was great.
That's a cool memory.
It was great.
That's
I had
awesome.
Such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so mad. It was one of those classes that I never had to go to. And then it just happened to be test day. Just brutal.
I love, again, I've been to so many Kings games, it's crazy. But with baseball, there's so many games that you have such great memories of.
Mhm.
Sitting in like high school, like during the summers, going with buddies and heckling the left fielder the entire time, whether it was
Sure.
Ricky or whoever
Mhm.
else. Like the first time you go to a ball game, I went with my cousins, my uncle. Like there's so many for whatever it is, there's a nostalgia to baseball that I don't think other sports have. The first
Yep.
time you went to a game, the first time you sat there and had, popcorn or whatever. Yeah, I dig baseball. I'm excited to have it back right now.
Joe, you had some baseball related questions for us.
Yeah.
Go ahead and what's your first question?
So just to preface, I like to start every season out with some predictions, some questions. This is how me and my friends always do it. So you guys talked about it a little bit. I would like to hear a set number on what you guys think the record will look like for the A's at the end of the year.
I think they win 78.
Okay.
I literally, that was the number in my head. 78 games.
Okay.
That's the official prediction of the Insider.
Cool.
78 and 84.
Yep. And I liked what James said, 85. That just sounds a lot more fun. So we'll move on, but 78 sounds about right.
Thanks. We're taking the over 72.5 for sure.
So
Yeah.
I was talking to Jackie, and she actually had a really good question.
Jackie from Promotions.
Correct.
Mhm.
She was saying, well, how do you think the fan base is going to sway? Are we going to see any new A's fans? Any new baseball fans in general in Sacramento? How do you think Sacramento is going to take to this team in the first year?
Great.
Yeah.
I think every game will be sold out
Mhm.
without any question. I think it's going to be a lively atmosphere. I think the hill
Mhm.
is really cool. Like the thought
Yep.
that, like going to River Cats games, that's always been cool.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think that fans will glob onto that, especially the tickets go on sale the day of the game, I think. And they're only selling like 250 for seats for 20 or
Mhm.
$25 a pop for the
Yeah.
hill.
I'm interested. And again, we've talked about this before, but I'm fascinated to know if it's just a general interest in Major League Baseball games.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a diehard
Fandom being created here.
bleeding green
Yeah.
and gold. Is it going to be like a spring training atmosphere?
Yeah.
Is it going to be like a River Cats atmosphere where it's just like not bad, but no, we're chilling. We're just hanging out.
Relaxed. Yeah.
Or is it like, hey, it's going to be loud? It's very small. So is there going to be this intensity? I'm really, really interested to see that. But
Same.
I agree with James. There's not going to be a game where there's an open seat.
No. And Sacramento has such passionate fans too. So
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about that. Do you guys have
Did
a
you have something?
sleeper?
What's that?
Did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. Do you guys have any sleepers? Anyone on the A's that people might be sleeping on this year?
Ooh. Good question.
Hmm.
This is not a sleeper, but I'm kind of wondering how Zach Geloff bounces back.
That is
this year.
literally who I have written down.
Yeah, because he was really, really good as a rookie.
Yep.
Rookie year he hit 267, 337 on base. He had 14 homers, and that was in 69 games. Nice. But then last year, 188 strikeouts, led the league. He hit 211 on base below 300. He was at 270. I think there's a really, really good player there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so once he gets back from his injury, I'm interested to see if he can kind of bounce back and take a step forward from his rookie year.
Yep.
And not just, improve on last year's kind of abysmal showing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say too. For me, Tyler Soderstrom is a guy with like so much potential. It's
Yep.
crazy,
Yeah.
and he has not been able to really like get his teeth into the major league game yet. And I think he has a ton of potential. And I think that like people are gonna. He reminds me a little bit like the long swing of like Ben Grieve. Like,
Oof.
I don't know if he's got the pop,
Oof.
like to be an everyday first baseman right now. But,
Mhm.
he's going to play catcher. He's going to play first base. I just think he's a player with a ton of potential. And if he figures it out, he could be one of those guys that really elevates. And then the other one is Shea Langoliers. Langoliers quietly put up 29 home runs and 80 RBI last year.
Started figuring it out.
He did.
Absolutely.
And he's got all kinds of pop. He did strike out way too much. But I think he's going to be one of those guys. The A's had a lot of guys who struck out a ton.
Yeah.
Geloff 188, but Rooker had 177. Langoliers had 145. Even Seth Brown playing in limited role, 372 at bats, had 112 strikeouts. Yeah, lots of strikeouts. And same thing with Max Schumann. Max Schumann struck out 119 times and quietly put together a decent season playing almost every day. But yeah,
I think we're going to continue seeing that because I think the A's are very 3 true outcomes oriented. So I think we're going to see them continue. I think they're going to hit a lot of dingers, and I think they're going to strike out a lot.
Yep.
Got a couple more?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go.
So, how do you guys think Sutter will hold up in the first year? Sutter Health Park. Do you think we'll hear anything negative from opposing teams, the players, or anything like that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're definitely some pitcher is going to have a tough night.
Yep.
And have something to say about the
Chris Sale.
ballpark. Yeah, it's actually that's 100%.
It's going to be Chris Sale.
It's 1,000% going to be Chris Sale. Yeah, I think at some point someone will have something to say, and you may hear stuff like these little veiled shots.
Yep, I feel like that's gonna be very prominent.
But overall, I don't think it's gonna be like a problem. Like I don't think that it's gonna be a lead story of like, hey, we're in the middle of June and the A's home ballpark is a disaster. I don't think that's gonna be the case at all. They've taken a lot of steps toward making sure it's at least major league like viable, and then B, they've brought in like grass specialists.
Yeah, I heard about that.
To make sure that their infield and outfield can withstand 157 games or whatever are going to be played.
Yeah, the heat. Yeah, I don't think you're going to hear a lot of negativity, to be honest with you. I mean, people might have some gripes, but then when you really get into a season, I think everyone's going to look at the players like, man, that's like some next level first world problems.
Yeah, good point.
I think what players are going to come out of the game, they're going to say, that was a packed house and it was a fun crowd. And it's like, not to be disrespectful, it's a lot better to go and play in front of like 14,000 people that are like on top of you than 6,000 people in a giant mausoleum that was a Coliseum. So I think the vibe will be cool. And I think players will enjoy it. They'll enjoy like the intimate setting. And I think it'll be a different experience than what people think it would be when they get there. They'll be like, hey, look at this. This place is packed. These people are like here and they're like engaged and it feels like they're on you because it's a very, very small park like inside. And the other thing, I think like fans that have not been to River Cats games, they'll realize very quickly that number one, the seats don't feel like they're normal Major League Baseball size seats. They're like 2 or 3 inches smaller. It's like you're flying on Spirit Airlines. The seats in Sutter Health,
shots fired in Sutter Health.
They're very narrow, and they also, for whatever reason, when they design the park, most of the seats don't face home plate like properly. So there isn't like a bow to the rows of seats, so they face. So a lot of times you're kind of jammed in your seat, and you're kind of having to look to the right or the left to actually see home plate. Which is very different, and that's why fans get hit with foul balls all the time at Sutter Health Field.
What's your last one?
So for the last one, let's make it simple. Do you guys have any hot takes? I got one.
I'd love a hot take.
Okay, so in the offseason, I said Brent Rooker will hit 50 home runs this year.
Jesus.
I kind of want to peel it back a little bit to 45.
Okay.
But what's the fun in that? So I'm going to stick with it. I talked to Charlie a lot in the offseason about just how the ball flies at Sutter Health. And if you kind of put that spray chart over how Rooker's been hitting, it's not impossible. So we'll do, I'll meet it right in the middle. 47 home runs for Brent Rooker this year. He's going to have.
Stick with 50.
50 it is.
Don't come off your hot take.
50 it is. Brent Rooker is going to hit a lot of home runs.
Lead the league in homers?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. Right. That would
Judge
be crazy.
60 again?
Yeah, something like that. But 50, man. 50 for Rooker. There we go.
Hot take. I think the A's are going to have 4 All-Stars.
I like that too. I had them at 3, but 4 is a good number.
Mason Miller, JJ Bleday, Lawrence Butler, and Brent Rooker.
Yep.
What? That's a hot take right there.
Going 4 All-Stars.
I'm gonna say my hot take would be that, well, maybe it's not a hot take, that their starting pitching isn't gonna hold up, and that's gonna be the reason why they don't
I think
reach,
that
like,
might just be the correct take.
another
Yeah.
level. Yeah, outside of that, I think it's possible. Well, here's one for you. I think it's possible that Wilson wins Rookie of the Year.
Oh, there you go.
I actually had that down as well, and I really like that. So
All right.
there we go. I think we're all on the same page here. We're all very excited for baseball to come to Sacramento.
Yeah, man. I've actually got an underdog lineup tonight ready for baseball season. Yeah, dude, because baseball's here. It's opening day today. And so I jumped into Underdog on the Underdog app. I would love for you to join me. Never mind. I'd love for you to join me. Download the Underdog app. You sign up, use the promo code Kyle M. It's all one word, Kyle M, KYLEM. Here's my lineup tonight. Logan Gilbert, starting pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. I'm going higher than 17.5 pitching outs. So that means I need him to get to 6 innings.
Oh,
He went through 7 in last year's season opener. I don't think the A's are going to be a team that's going to make you throw a ton of pitches. I don't think they're going to work a ton of counts. And so I think Logan Gilbert is going to be able to get through at least 6 tonight. Very good pitcher, opening day starter for the Mariners. Lawrence Butler, I'm going higher than 1.5 runs, hits, runs, and RBIs.
okay.
If he hits a home run, even a solo home run, he goes higher. And I think he might do that tonight. So I'm going 1.5, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for Lawrence Butler. And then Luis Severino, I'm going higher than 5.5 strikeouts. I thought that felt like a lot, especially for a pitcher who may not go much beyond like 5 innings. The Mariners were tied for the highest strikeout rate in the league last year. They struck out a lot. 28.6% of their at-bats, they struck out. Luis Severino, I'm going higher than 5.5 strikeouts against a free-swinging Mariners ball club.
Okay.
And that's my lineup on Underdog. I would love for you to play along. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code Kyle M to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code Kyle M. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. All right, let's dive back into Kings, Blazers. I also have a Demonis bonus question for you when we come back. That's James Ham. He's Joe Brazil. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. You're on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center.
Reading, the White Sox have the lowest predicted win total in 35 years. Their sports books have them at 53.5 wins. After they lost 112 last year?
The A's?
121. No, the White Sox.
Oh my God, dude, the White Sox.
121 losses.
Do you remember their social team finally by the end of the year just leaning into it?
Oh, yeah.
That's so good.
It won't be that long until we don't talk Kings every single day. I mean, well, we're still going to talk Kings every day, but as it won't be like 80-20 show prep.
Of course, the Dodger fan wants us to talk about baseball. Going to win 150 goddamn games.
Yeah.
Joe's so mad. My favorite thing, I was going to talk about this, but I want to get to some other stuff. My favorite thing is that I know I'm supposed to hate the Dodgers, and I don't feel really anything toward, like, they're awesome. They're really freaking good, but I don't like root for them. I like Shohei, and I like a lot of their players, like Mookie's awesome. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is incredible, but I just don't.
Oh man, Mookie is the only guy I can get behind on that team. I like him, actually, but regardless, I just have an unhealthy hatred for the Dodgers.
No, yeah, that's the Giants-Dodgers rivalry needs to exist. It's so good for baseball.
Yeah, it is good for baseball. I also it's bad for my mental health. I can't believe the Dodgers got Ohtani. I'm still stuck on that, man.
You can't believe it, really?
No, I can believe it, but I'm not. You get what I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm still so
pissed.
stuck on that. There was a moment, sorry to cut you off. There was a moment in time where I was walking around this office thinking that Ohtani might come to the Giants.
That's on you.
I know.
That's a you
I know
problem.
that. I know. I like to be optimistic.
That's a huge problem.
This happened 2 years before I was born. So no, it doesn't hit with me.
I can tell you where I was.
Hey,
that
shout out
day.
to Freddie Freeman too. I like Freddie Freeman.
Stupid.
It's
Kurt
true. Freddie
Gibson.
Freeman's cool too.
Stupid Kurt Gibson.
That doesn't that documentary, the World Series documentary, come out tomorrow? God, I can't wait.
Really?
What?
No, I just didn't know that they're making a documentary on it.
Yeah, it's a whole it's gonna be great. Dude, love our Padres. Big Padres guys. I'm an Oakland A's fan. Yeah, I don't hate the Dodgers. I don't feel anything toward them.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
I disagree that the Dodgers illustrate the failure of MLB. Hard disagree with that. They have ownership that's willing to spend, and the thing that is underrated with the Dodgers, and I will scream this from the mountaintops, the underrated thing with the Dodgers is that, yes, they invest a ton into their payroll, and it's crazy. They've also invested a ton into their player development. And their ability to make these huge trades that involve like 3 of their top 5 prospects, and they're bringing in a star player, and then they just immediately restock their farm system. It's super, super impressive. I think more teams should be trying to emulate the Dodgers instead of trying to cut their legs out from under them.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, that's where putting money into your actual program, like your scouting, your development, all of that stuff, that's where, like, you can say that the A's have been so cheap with their major league roster, but they also have not been able to develop the talent that they should have been able to develop over this time.
They do. Their player development program is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge problem. So,
and it wasn't
anyways.
At one point. It was incredible at one point. That's why you had like the late 90s, early 2000s was all farm system guys, Zeter, Mulder, Hudson, all of them were, brought up through the system. Chavez, Giambi, like it's just one player after another just kept coming up through the system. Tejada, and then to abandon that, like to just basically build up players and then trade them for somebody else's top prospects, and then not be able to have many of those materialize as well because your system wasn't built to support the high end talent.
That's what was so shocking. And I want to get to the Kings, but that's what it was always so shocking is how often the A's would acquire these like top prospects and then would never have a top farm system.
Yeah.
Unreal. Anyways, we'll get to Kings Blazers in a second. I have a question though.
Okay.
We talked about the Kings and just kind of some of the long-term stuff. Are they okay long-term if they decide moving forward that they are going to build around Domantas Sabonis? If they go, hey, this is going to be our guy. This is our 1A. We are building around him.
I think they are. I mean, look, you're going to have an elite scorer to go with him, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But that's not that big of a deal. Like, again, the Kings traded one elite scorer for another elite scorer. And when we talk, people could argue with me whether Zach LaVine or De'Aaron Fox are elite scorer. Like, Fox was top 10 in the league in scoring. Zach LaVine's top 15.
If you're scoring 26 plus a night, you're doing a nice job.
Well, even if you're scoring like 24, with LaVine came to Sacramento scoring in Chicago. Like that's a very, you're in the top 20 in the league in scoring. So you're always going to have not just one, but multiple scorers around him. I think the brilliance to Sabonis is that so many players in the league can just fit alongside him. And you need 3-and-D guys.
Is that true though?
Yeah, I
then why are they not better?
Because they just haven't gone and got many of those guys. Like you have to have.
That doesn't line up though.
Okay, so like the DeMar DeRozan type player is not going to play well with Domantas Sabonis, right?
Sure.
Outside of that, like the 3-and-D type player, which again, the Kings just haven't been able to go out and get. The Kings have not added the players, the long athletic 3-point shooting 3-and-D players.
Mm-hmm.
You look at all of the best teams in the league, and they're just packed with them.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Cavs. Look at the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Look at OKC. They just keep manufacturing this specific type of gritty, defensive-minded 3-point shooting player.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings just don't do it. And so that's what they should be looking for. That's what you put around. Look at if you were going to model a team, your team after another team, it would be the Denver Nuggets. And you don't have many of the types of players that they have. And that to me has been the mistake. Year one of the Beam team, you add Herter and he comes in and starts firing. You add Monk off the bench. You have Keegan Murray as a 3-point shooter. You supported Sabonis with the right players.
Mm-hmm.
You needed the next season to take the next step and add more of those players and players that again, maybe a shot blocking version, maybe another long athletic 3-4. Like I don't think it's difficult. You could see that Harrison Barnes had a really good impact alongside Domantas Sabonis, and Keegan was able to have a really good season. His second season, really good season. Shooting numbers were down a little bit, but Herter, best season of his career. Like it's not that difficult to see the pieces that fit alongside him.
I think the difference with the Nuggets is I think the bar of player that you would need to acquire is higher. Like if you're going to try some kind of facsimile of a Jokic Murray tandem, you need a player who's better than Jamal Murray. Because Jokic, when we saw it the last time they played the Kings, it's like, hey, they need a bucket. They're just dumping it down to him on the block and he's going to go do something. That's not Domas's game. And so I think if you're going to, I saw some people in the chat, I'll say, yeah, you can build around him, but he can't be your 1A. That's kind of where I agree.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you say 1A, like I don't look at Sabonis as a 1A, but that doesn't mean you can't build around him.
Sure.
So, I mean, again, Jokic is such a rare player that it's really difficult to actually because of his scoring ability.
Yeah,
like the extra 10 points a game. Yeah. But like De'Aaron Fox averaged for most of the last couple of years 5 points more per game than Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Like, so you're able to make up for it pretty simple by having a player who just does more at that position. But the Kings don't have that, again, the Michael Porter Jr. type scorer.
Yeah.
They do. It's DeMar DeRozan, but it's not in the same way that Porter is a 3-point shooter who gets out on the break and scores. Again, it's about finding the right fits as opposed to just trying to go out and get, a guy who scores 20 points per game.
Yeah, I think I think I agree. If you're going to roll forward, if you're looking at next year and you go, all right, it's Zach LaVine, he's going to be here, Domas, and we're going to try and make this. We're just going to go pick and roll heavy with these two guys, and we're going to try the 3-and-D thing. I think I'm okay with that. The problem is we're not totally certain, it sounds like, that Sabonis is going to want to be here. And that changes the calculus immensely. Because now I think I agree with you that Sabonis is good enough that if you commit to a team build around him, that you'd be in a pretty good spot. And I think you can just move forward with that and you can actually get back on track in an off season or two if you do it right. That obviously changes a lot if he's like, yeah, hey, I want out of here. Because now I think there's nothing left to substantially build around. You don't have another significant piece to make the centerpiece of your team. Maybe not a 1A. Maybe 1A was the wrong term, but like the centerpiece of what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, in all honesty, I think that there's a good chance that there's a complete upheaval of the front office this offseason.
Yeah.
And we already saw Wes Wilcox. He'll be at the game tonight, I believe, and then that's it. That'll be his last game tonight, from what I know. And I also think that the way that Sabonis.
Why is he not doing his job?
What do you mean?
Isn't like there a transfer portal open?
Yeah.
Shouldn't he be working?
Well, I think he can probably do both, like today, because there's not a lot going on in the NBA. So I'm sure he's watching that, but I believe he'll be at the game tonight, and that'll be his last game.
Okay. Anyways, keep going.
No, my point though is that there was enough damage done with this front office with Sabonis this last offseason. Like whether it was again retaining Mike Brown or whether it was him making the comments at his basketball camp that, yeah, we finally got a deal done.
Yeah.
Like, I think Sabonis would prefer somebody else make the decisions. And I think you can fix the Sabonis relationship, just like I believe deep down that you could have fixed the De'Aaron Fox relationship. You hit a panic button. You did something that was irrational and crazy at the trade deadline. I think that there's going to be a moment. Yeah. There's going to be a moment here where that's part of the calculus of how you move forward is like, what does Domas want? And can you save that relationship? And, whether the Zach LaVine relationship, whatever, Zach LaVine he'll come to some reality at some point that you're in Sacramento for the next year. And if you want to opt out of the $49 million, that's fine. But like your chances are you're here because his contract is so immovable. But I do think that if you can get the right person in here that is aggressive in the right way and rebuilds this thing the right way quickly, that you could build this thing out pretty quickly. You could be good next season.
Real quick, I want to put a pin in that. It's Spirit Day here at the office.
Yeah.
Everybody looks like they're having so much fun getting ready to take a photo. And we just don't get to.
We had our moment.
We did. Right. We took a photo of just you, me, and Joe.
Yep.
The most awkward photo in human history.
I look back at that picture.
Do we know, did Aaron Miller post that on his Instagram?
I guarantee
I'm going to tell him not to post that photo.
Yeah. All right. Not the most flattering photo.
It's an awkward, I don't like it.
I don't love it.
Yeah, it's not. You look fine.
I look like I'm like
James and I look like
you guys don't want to be next to me.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. That's the vibe I get from that picture.
No, I need him to not have that.
As somebody
I'm just breaking news.
So I didn't know if this was a bit or what.
No, I'm just seeing this.
Okay. That works out perfectly.
According to our insider Joe Brazil, they're gonna wait 7 minutes until our break.
And you want to know why that is?
Because you went out there.
Because I peeked my head out there and I said, "Would you guys mind waiting 6 more minutes?" and then Kevin goes, "Oh my gosh, 6 minutes!"
You know what?
Kevin also ran by, which is what was distracting.
I need to know. This is a radio station.
Yes.
Okay. This is a cluster of radio stations. This office has radio studios.
I don't know if a lot of people realize that.
It is. I know. They are built to be soundproof.
Like, yep, I know where you're going with this.
If a studio door is closed, and if I'm sitting where I sit away from the door, I can yell very loudly, and nobody will hear me.
Yep.
When Kevin runs by, it is like a stampede of buffalo.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand how.
It's impressive.
I do not get the physics.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Tough.
I'm really happy that we get to be part of that picture because it looks like a really good time. Everybody's.
It's going to be a good picture. I told him we got to be part of it.
Yeah, I'm sick of our time slot being hindering our ability to participate in group activities.
If you looked at just the group activities and the photos, people would think we don't even work here.
It's very possible we don't work here.
It's a great point. Maybe they're trying to
Yeah.
tell us something.
All right, good point.
Wear your baseball stuff and take a photo, not you guys.
That's why we're wearing jerseys today, so people know it's Spirit Day here at the office.
Yes. Kings Blazers tonight. We've got keys to victory for you. We get back on track on the Insiders. Sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento sports leader. James Ham. The Kings need to beat the Blazers tonight. We established this earlier. If the Kings lose tonight, the season is toast. You are not in a good space if you're losing to the Blazers tonight to go 2-5 on your homestand, 5 losses in a row, heading into a 6-game road trip.
I would agree 100%.
Not in a great spot. So, what is key number 1?
The Blazers aren't particularly good at anything. They just aren't. But they play hard, and you need to match their intensity. They've been better in the second half of the season, but they aren't good at shooting the ball. They aren't good at shooting the 3. They turn the ball over a ton. They do a bunch of things that aren't good.
Yep.
All you have to do is match their intensity and then play your game, and you should be able to beat them.
Yeah, that is my first key as well. Don't be surprised that they're athletic and playing hard. Like, don't be surprised that don't have it be 12-2 Blazers in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh wait, what? They're trying. Like, yeah, man, that's kind of their bag right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good defensively. Offensively, you mentioned they're a little bit of a mess.
They're physical.
But yeah, they're young, athletic, physical. They are the players are trying for the 10 seed. Whether the team wants them to or not is TBD. But yeah, you cannot be surprised by that. Number 2.
Forced turnovers. The Blazers are 29th in the league in turnovers. If you play like that crazy ball hawking defense that we saw against, was it the Cavs, where they're flying all over Memphis?
Well, OKC had 7 turnovers in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. If you play that style where you're like running all over, Jake LaRavia's flying all over, if he plays, you're being like chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
This team will turn the ball over a ton, and you can build a lead.
Yeah, man. It's so funny looking at any turnover related statistic, whether it's turnovers committed, turnovers forced, points off turnovers, opponent points off turnovers. The Blazers are down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good key. Number 2 for me, I need Zach LaVine to have a breakout game here. Can Zach LaVine show up just like a little bit? If you're going to get somebody like Shaden Sharp running around, flying in, doing athletic Shaden Sharp stuff, I would like to see Zach LaVine do the same. If the Kings are going to win tonight and then be any kind of factor moving forward, they need a better version of Zach LaVine than the one they've gotten.
I totally agree. Just been waiting for him to be that player, and he has got to figure it out.
Doesn't make any sense. Number 3.
Number 3 for me is keep them off the offensive glass. They're 3rd in the league in offensive rebounds. This is one of the few things they do well. Mm-hmm. Second chance points and all that stuff. They score well off of it. So put a body on somebody. The Kings are one of the better defensive rebounding teams in the league. They should be able to be okay here. But they will out hustle you on the offensive glass.
Yeah, absolutely. Denny Avdia specifically has been very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 for me, find the mismatches and attack them. They have a bunch of defensive, I don't want to say liabilities. That's harsh, but they have a lot of players that you can go at defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Go find those mismatches. They're going to be there, whether it's DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine or Keegan Murray or whoever.
Yeah, especially with Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton out of action. Jeremy Grant is doubtful.
Yeah.
Like, go at those positions specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Klingon is like, he can't keep up with this team. Yeah.
Yeah, and if Tamani Kamara is not playing, like Tamani Kamara is an awesome defender, but if he's not playing, then yeah.
Mm-hmm. Game on.
Get downhill. All right. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Joe Brazil's with us. We've got the handoff coming up. One of D'Lo or KC will be in here next. I think I saw D'Lo here. And we're going to go take a photo. It's ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Center.
Thank you. We're back.
We did it.
Sorry we left you
I think we should get a temperature check on what they think of the hat.
unattended.
What?
I think we should get a temperature check on what they think of the hat.
Let's Joe, go ahead and show that bad
Let's
boy
do
off.
it. Let's see here.
Yeah. The Lucille John's crazy. Oh my
Absolutely.
God. Oh boy. So that okay.
What are
I
we?
see.
How are we feeling?
That's really strong.
Okay.
It's a good hat.
It
Thank
is.
you. All right.
Yeah, it's Damian Barling.
Damian Barling, everybody. Damian Barling.
Hi, everyone.
Hey man, look at you in the spirit. Nice.
Yeah,
You didn't wear any baseball stuff?
well, I was gonna wear D'Lo and Casey stuff, and I thought, oh, maybe that's not the spirit of what to do. And everyone's got their. That's exactly what I should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. Literally, when we have two pieces of King's gear, Katie wore one.
Yeah, this is facts, Joe. Oh, just gone. It's Jesse now. $30 seconds. Jesse taking shots at me on Twitter. That's so crazy.
Day, we had to wait to take the
That
picture
was
because of you guys.
Crazy.
That's talent right there. That's divas.
Do I need to log in? You need to log in.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. It's Jesse Tapia now. I was gonna say it's Joe Brazil, but is
Joe
Joe
didn't take
just
a
what is
picture.
Joe doing? Is he just schmoozing?
What is he doing out there?
Yeah, he's taking a picture, I guess, right now.
What?
They're taking a Giants
Do they
picture.
not know he's working? What is this?
Hey, when the boss calls you, you got to go.
Yeah,
Is
it's
this
kind of
what-
true. Let Joe live.
Yeah.
Let Joe live.
Let the man
Relax.
be.
No,
He's
I'm
back.
Not, this
He's
is not
back.
anti-Joe. This is anti boss man being like, hey, no, don't do your
This-
responsibilities.
This place is built off vibes, bro. You of all people should know that.
Big vibes guy.
That's it. You're the curator of vibes.
It is so funny, and I know we've talked about this before, but the the way things go here versus the way things went at my last radio station,
not the same.
not the same. Here it'll be like, hey, we're just gonna take your producer out because we're gonna take a fun photo because it's Spirit Day.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Am
That's
I
so
in
funny.
trouble?
No,
No.
no, you were
I'm
not.
being an
No,
I'm
ass.
just kidding.
That's
What?
why
No, I was not.
You're
I'm
being
just
a
kidding.
hater.
No, I'm just not the hating.
Do you want to go take an A's picture and me and Hammer can fill this few minutes?
No,
You and Karosh, I think, are the only two.
it's fine. It's literally dozens of us. No, I was not hating. I
I'm
was
turning
not
up for
hating.
A's games this year.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be outside.
really?
Yeah,
Dude, absolutely.
How many professional baseball games have you been to in your life?
Oh, probably less than a dozen, but I've been to Cardinals opening day. I've
Really?
been to,
That's cool.
I've been to Wrigley a couple of times.
How have you-
I've been to Yankee Stadium a couple of times. I've been to Fenway. I mean, I lived on the East Coast. Like,
I guess that's true. Yeah,
New York
that's
was
right.
an
Yeah.
easy get. Boston was an easy get.
Been to more ballparks.
I mean,
than
I've been to,
Yeah,
I've been
seriously.
to, I mean, obviously, I've been to San Francisco and Oakland,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been to a good number of baseball games.
That's a you,
The
you've got a lot of ballparks.
anti-baseball thing is kind of a work. Like I don't mean
Yeah,
to like
no, for sure.
spill trade secrets, but it's kind of a work. I mean,
Yeah.
I really enjoy being at baseball games,
Mhm,
and I enjoy watching baseball live a lot.
mhm.
It's hard for me to invest 3 hours in the middle of a Saturday afternoon during the summer to baseball.
Sure.
But no, I actually love baseball a lot more than I lead on.
That's why I'm pro pitch clock, because now it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah, it's great. So you have Wrigley, Fenway, Yankee Stadium, Busch Stadium,
Yep.
Oakland, San Francisco.
I never. Come on, man. I don't think I've ever been to a Nationals game.
Okay.
Which is the only other place that I lived.
No Baltimore.
No Baltimore.
What about Mets?
No Mets.
Okay.
Nope. No.
All right.
So that's probably it.
My dad and I just
because I didn't do the Comiskey Park either. Didn't do
it's
that
a
one.
guaranteed rate field now, or whatever it's called.
Okay. I didn't do the other Chicago field. I never did that one.
That it's called that. My dad and I are doing a trip this summer. FYI, I'm not going to be here for a week. We're doing Wrigley and Fenway in the same. We're just going to do it all in a weekend.
Oh, very good. That's awesome.
Fired up.
That's
Can't
awesome.
Wait. And Chicago. I've never been to Boston. Chicago's a great city. Can't wait to bop around Chicago.
Yeah, I love every one of those parks I've been in, like Fenway, Wrigley's, obviously. I mean, because they're all kind of historic parks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There is a, the Busch Stadium was a little difficult. It was during the women's Final Four, so it was like cold. It was like the beginning of April. Like it was opening day. It was cold, so it wasn't like I had the thing I remember the most is we're in the city and our driver is taking us and he's like, man, I don't know if you guys see it, let me know, which is a joke because you're literally just driving down the main street and all of a sudden there's a gigantic baseball field right there. So it's like, oh, okay, wow, that's cool. Like I'm not used to seeing that.
Just out of nowhere.
It's like Wrigley. It's in a neighborhood.
Literally smack
you're just
in the
like
middle of a neighborhood.
Walking around, you're asking, like people rent their driveways for you to park in for $60 or $70 or whatever. And you're just like walking around and there's Miss Johnson, there's Miss Robinson, and there's Wrigley. And you can go next door to Wrigley is a duplex. So that's, but when you walk in it, there's oh wow.
Yeah, I took the tour. The tour is incredible because they let you in the dugout. They let you into the press box where Harry Carey's box is right there. They let you onto the field. Although when I was there, the field was they had pulled the field and it was just dirt, and they were gonna reseed or whatever they do. And the ivy wasn't. It was all cut back. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. So I've been to Wrigley, but not to a game, and I've been to Old Yankee Stadium for a game.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
so
I never made it to Old Yankee Stadium. Only the new one.
The new one feels weird. It felt very it felt very like corporate.
Oh, for sure. And we had like
Levi Stadium vibes, except that it's trying to look like Old Yankee Stadium.
So there was the Connecticut Sun are owned by the Mohegan Sun tribe, and they have a suite at Yankee Stadium. So we were able to go kind of do the suite life, so to speak. That's and you have this lounge buffet and it's all of this amazing thing. And then you could just walk out to it was one of the most fascinating baseball games I went to. It was the Yankees. We were on the third base side. Alex Rodriguez was playing third base. The game is whatever. And then it starts to pour like it is raining. Everybody runs inside. Maybe an hour less than that passes, and they get everyone back out on the field. 2 innings later, it's scorching hot, uncomfortably hot,
and probably hella humid because it just rained.
No, the rain washes the humid away. So it was humid to start. It pours, dries up. The sun comes out, and it is just scorching hot for the next hour and a half.
Rain washes the humid
game.
Away.
Oh yeah. Oh, in
that
China,
a real thing?
No, in China, I remember. Maybe it wasn't.
You've been to China?
Maybe it wasn't the humidity. Maybe it was the fog.
I'm learning a lot about you today.
No, of course. I went to the 2008 Olympics. You knew that.
I did not. I had no idea.
Yeah. How much about my life do you know?
To talk more.
I guess so.
No, I had no idea you'd been to China.
Yeah, so in China's like Beijing, it was disgusting. But one day, maybe a week and a half in, it poured, and all of a sudden you could go outside and breathe.
Huh.
So I think it would wash some of the humidity, but it was mostly smog that it got rid of, and it was like, oh man, air. Very nice.
Weird.
It lasted a day, but it was very nice.
Because in Arizona, when you get those monsoons that come in the middle of the summer, and then it rains like hell, and then it's 115 the next day, with the wet, it is not a pleasant experience.
Sure. Yeah, that is kind of like what I feel like DC is like.
Yeah. DC
in the summer, like DC can be so frustrating in the summer because, and that's probably why I never went to a damn Nationals game, is like it's dark. Like it's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's just overcast.
Yes.
Uncomfortably hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
You feel like you're getting burned.
Yes.
But there's no sun in sight.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not a
DC is
not a vibe.
Good.
I always felt with Florida, like Florida, you go outside and it's so humid and you're like wet and sticky, like instantly. And then every building you walk into, the AC set to like 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you walk in, you instantly have the chills. You're like, this is, you're soaking wet, but now the AC, because they have to have the AC cranked to keep the moisture out.
Yes.
Yeah. Just horrible.
Yeah. I didn't have that experience in Orlando, but I had it in Miami.
Yes.
Miami, because I've only been to Miami once, and it was literally, I got there the night Katrina passed through and started heading for the Gulf. So that's what I went into Miami the first time. And much like the Yankees game, the next day in Miami, it was, I don't know what the temperature was. It was 80, 90, what it was, but it was scorching hot. Trees down in the middle. Like, it was just a disaster. But it was incredibly hot and humid. Like, you're changing clothes. Like, because we were working, going to events, you're changing clothes multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah.
The whole time you feel gross.
Not my favorite.
Yeah.
I've never been in a rush to go back to Miami. Plus, you better be Kenny Caraway rich to go to Miami. Everything is so expensive.
Miami seems
and it's
like
worse when there's people there. Like, I was there for the MTV Video Music Awards. Way worse. Like everything was $100 to get in.
I mean this in the most respectful way. Miami seems like a fake place to me.
Oh, very.
Like
very.
when they were, because the Warriors played in Miami and they did that like outside shot of the stadium, and there's like cars on the road.
Yeah.
Like, you don't live there.
Do you?
Like, I know they do, but it's weird that people just live in Miami.
Do you remember not the opening scene of Beverly Hills Cop, but do you remember when Axel Foley first gets to Beverly Hills and he's looking around and there's like leather jackets and then like women walking around in bikini? That's Miami. Like, that's what Miami is. And you look around and you go like, I've been to LA. It doesn't really look like, maybe it looked like that in 85. Like, it doesn't really look like that. That's exactly what Miami looks like right now.
Wild.
What do you
and everyone drives something out of a car collection.
Yeah. You have to drive like
especially on South Beach.
Yeah. Everybody, I feel like Miami is Rick Ross as a city.
It's facts. Yeah. Perfect analogy.
What do you guys got coming up on deal?
Kings got to show us something tonight.
Facts.
And I think tonight is a good indicator of the next 10 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll explain why.
No doubt. D'Lo and KC coming up next for James Ham and Joe Brazil. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. We're back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until then, drink water. Be nice to people. See ya.